What is happening? Welcome to the Plus Pitch Podcast, more pitching podcast from pitcherlist.com. My name is Nick Pollock. Today is April 2nd, and yes, we are going to talk about baseball. I also want to mention these podcasts, I know they've been coming out around like 10:30 or really like noon or so. That is going to change soon. You're going to be hearing these around 2 a.m. Moving forward as I'm moving in to my apartment. And that means when I write the roundup at night, I'm going to be following it with this podcast as I'm also not doing streamers on this anymore. Part of the reason why I saved the podcast for the next day was streamers. But let's be honest, guys, you have the article. It's right there. It's very straightforward. If you have any extra questions about the streamers, you can just come on to my morning podcast on playback.tv/pitcherlist at 10 a.m. Eastern time every single morning. And yeah, if there's baseball on, stop what you're doing. Don't watch baseball alone. Just go to playback.tv/pitcherlist. If you haven't done it yet, just do it once when a game is going on. You'll understand why we're doing it, why it's so fun. You will be able to just watch the game with the community. And it's not DFS and sports betting. It is not brotastic. We are not cursing and being, trolls and angry at each other. Like, you can just ask your questions. You'll get good, smart answers back from passionate baseball fans. It's incredible. It's free, by the way. So just go to playback.tv/pitcherlist when you're watching baseball. Stop watching baseball alone. Now, if you are watching this on YouTube, as you should, because we have the Plus Pitch podcast on YouTube now, and you'll see the glorious, oh my gosh, look at this glorious image from Justin Paradis. It's the EOV moment 37. And if you get that, I'm so happy you're a video game nerd like I am. This is a classic Street Fighter moment called Evo moment, and I just have been thinking about this pun for ages, and it's a really good looking graphic. Okay, so why is it the EOV moment? Because he threw a complete game shutout. The first of the year. We've seen Eovaldi do this in the past, and if you guys remember, we were all like really into Eovaldi in the spring before, and then we kind of settled away from it. Eovaldi is looking really good for the most part. His curve is way different. It's much better than it used to be. That is awesome. Oh, thank you so much for that, Eovaldi. But, the fastball, 93.5. And I'm not saying that's like a death sentence. I'm just saying that we've been seeing 95 or so from Eovaldi's fastball. We've been seeing times like 94.5, but 93.5 I think is the lowest I've seen in a long time. And maybe it's because he did carry on through this game entirety of 99 pitches. Maddux, awesome to do that in front of his brother as a pitching coach. But it is a little weird. And it is also the worst fastball I've seen from him. It wasn't well commanded. The curve and the splitter were good. The cutter, it took over a bit, especially against the left-handers. I love that. It's all just like, hey, we're going to keep rolling with Eovaldi. He's a Holly now. He was one of those guys like I got in drafts, but I didn't really emphasize more in the preseason, and I should have. I really regret, I mean, so often this happens. I regret that I didn't push Eovaldi into that Seth Lugo tier and put him around like 40, 41, above the likes of like Jackson Jobe and Gavin Williams, etc. I think I had a little fear that Eovaldi was degrading and was going to continue to do it, but it's pretty obvious that he isn't if that fastball velocity doesn't stay at 93. Okay? The new curve is great and everything is cool. All right, so looking forward to everyone else from yesterday's games. We have Shane Baz, who looked so good. Oh my gosh, the velocity, that has been weird, and I don't know, is it good, is it bad? 97. He was up a tick and a half. All right, and it was effective here, not in the Trop. I think all the fears we've had about the Rays pitchers going into George Steinbrenner Field, at least for now, not a problem. Maybe when it does get more humid out in Florida as the summer continues and there are rainouts, maybe we'll get it. But in the meantime, that curveball that we saw that we got so excited about last year from Shane Baz, yeah, it's great. I mean, it's great. So it's still really good. We love that. 53% CSW. The slider just had a 47% strike rate, and I wish I had a little bit better feel for it. But the fact that the four-seamer is doing well, the curveball is doing well, and had some decent changeups, but like most of them were just floated up to lefties. Just get that thing down. Just get that down and everything's solved. But yeah, this was much better, Baz. I'm not in love with this because I don't think the four-seamer at 97 is going to stay at 97. It's probably going to settle down to 95.5 or 96. And it's not the destroyer of worlds that it used to be. Well, really, the slider used to be the destroyer of worlds, but that was sticky stuff. So little things about that. Casey Mize, well, you like the line. He was in Seattle, so you definitely streamed him here, and he got the stream victory. I think I'm 6-0 right now. I've started seasons 0-7, so like that's shocking to me that I'm 6-0 right now with stream. But it really just showcases how deep starting pitching is. You can just stream all these guys because they're under 20% rostered, as there have been too many good starters, right? So Casey Mize was one of them. We got this one. 5.2 innings of 0 runs, 1 hit, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. There's a problem. And what we saw in the spring was 95.5 in the four-seamer. Really good spotting of it. It was the foundation. Oh, 94 in this one is scary to me. If Mize isn't just destroying with this four-seamer, that means his split change, the splitter, I get him and Maddux sometimes mixed up. The splitter can't be a 47% strike pitch. I mean, it had some really good moments, don't get me wrong, but that's not quite right. And then you have the slider that we want to be this really good bridge pitch, 50% strike rate. So this isn't great. And all right, fine. What if Casey Mize is getting a good start, right? Remember, he was supposed to get the White Sox next, right? No, right. Jackson Jobe and Mize swapped. Jobe is getting the White Sox. So then who is Mize getting? Oh, the Yankees. Nope. I've dropped Casey Mize, guys. I'm telling you right now, there are so many awesome pitchers to go for. I'm swapping Casey Mize for Landon Robb in a league before Robb even goes tonight, because I don't want that start with Mize. I'm terrified of that start. And I don't feel as if you are missing out on an amazing 12-teamer play. It could be a Holly eventually. That could be the case. But I'm not going to invest in that right now. All right, I'm looking forward to other guys from yesterday. Forward? I don't know. Let's just move on. Michael King was an ace. Ace is going to ace here. You had worries about him not getting enough strikes last time. I certainly did, under 60% on everything. 12 over 13 sinker strikes, and four-seamers were at 68%. You love to see that. The changeup was so much better. I know it wasn't a 60% strike rate, but the consistency of it, the location of it, so much better than what we've seen in the past. I absolutely love it. King Cole here for the King. 40% CSW. The King Cole with his crown. All right. Chad Patrick. You don't know this guy. Well, the thing is, it's two first names. So you're innately like, absolutely not, right? Of course, I get it. But Chad Patrick, 4.2 innings, 0 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, 5 Ks, as Milwaukee finally something broke their way with these pitchers that they've been throwing. I just don't like them, though. 93, 94 fastballs and 88 mile per hour cutter, and that's really it. It's like Valente Biazzo, but like slightly harder throwing, but like it's not enough. You know, I'm not in on Chad Patrick here. I think I need to see more of him actually dominating before I would do anything. Dustin May showed up, 5 innings, 81 pitches. He wasn't as efficient as we want him to be, and that's okay. You're figuring this out. Four-seamers are upstairs to get strikeouts. He's getting whiffs, 4 for 20 whiffs on it. I love this. That's a 20% swing strike rate. Beautiful, Dustin May. And then he's going to come into his sweeper a bit more. He's going to be a little more accurate with it, I think, over time. It's a case where I don't think that Dustin May will be his 6-inning potential until, what do you know, it's going to be May. That is so cringeworthy, and I'm so sorry. But look, Dustin May has these amazing sinkers inside. He has a four-seamer to go upstairs. He has this good sweeper. He only threw, I think, 2 cutters, and I think that will expand over time. That sweeper will get more consistent over time as well. We have not seen a season with Dustin May throwing more than 10 starts. So keep that in mind. When it comes to pitchers throughout a season, they just need to get into rhythm a lot. They are capable of hitting their spots. But just think about it with any craft. If you're a guitarist, if you practice every day, you'll be a lot better than you practice for a month, you stop playing, and you come back and you practice for a month. You got to keep going at it, and I think you're going to see that from Dustin May over time. Chris Sale had a scary thing go on in this game. I'm going to tell you what that is after this break. Chris Sale, 5 innings, 300 runs, 4 hits, 0 walks, 5 Ks. He had a careful Icarus as he went 5 shutout, and then he allowed a single, a home run, a single, got pulled from the game. Of course, that runner came around to score, duh. But Chris Sale was like 92, 91? And then he went up to 95, 96, but you would see these spikes down. I wonder if they were just bad changeups maybe he was trying something else that Savant isn't picking up correctly. It was weird, but I think we don't consider it for now. I think right now we just see those as weird anomalies and realize that no, he's like 94 to 96, really. And that's that. We have Logan Webb against the Astros with the win, 7 innings of 1 earned run. You love to see it. It is still really weird to see him throw so few changeups, only 14% usage. They were a lot of right-handers, so he's trying not to throw changeups against righties these days. Still, I mean, so many sweepers. He threw more sweepers to lefties than he did changeups. Whatever, it works. He has a cutter now, the four-seamer and sinker. I love these sinker ballers featuring their four-seamer rarely. That is just different movement and then surprises guys because they're underneath the bat because of it. I love that. So good stuff there from Logan Webb. Carson Spires got the gold star. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 5 Ks. The gold star goes to, of course, a guy who didn't do well. Or sorry, we don't expect to do well and all of a sudden had that good start. We didn't expect 6 innings here from Spires here. He's a werewolf, and we don't even know if he's going to be a beast again, because is he going to be around when the next full moon appears? That's another pitcherless term. I'm so sorry. But yeah, Carson Spires, nice command, I guess. Like, had it good enough to give him a moment for success, and the Rangers did not take advantage of the worst stuff that they normally see. Kyle Hendricks, guess the 6 innings, 2 earned runs. Beautiful. The Cardinals are not a good offense. He threw a ton of changeups, like 79 and 80 miles per hour. He's a rare streamer. All right. That's it. I actually have him in Guillotine League, and I feel very proud of this. I need to brag. Okay. Jose Barrios, look, he's a great undulator. We knew that he wasn't always going to be the same guy from last week. I dropped him on the list because, like, yeah, he's going to do this, and I just don't want to deal with it. And look, 5.2 innings of 200 runs to a Philly. He'll take the ERA, but 7 base runners. I mean, 8 strikeouts, though. 8 strikeouts, no win. It's nice to see it. It is weird to see the curve not do that well, 55% strike rate, and still have this success. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with Barrios in a 12-teamer. 15-teamer, you got to hold on to him and all that kind of stuff. Fine. Shane Smith. Oh, boy. I watched this one. 5.2 innings of 200 runs, 2 hits, 4 walks, and 3 Ks. And if you watch on our YouTube channel, the Pitcherless YouTube channel today, you will see my video breakdown of Shane Smith, because I think there is legitimate potential in this moving forward. I was wondering if he was going to be able to sit around 96 the entire game. And there is concern that he's not stretched out yet. He threw about 73 pitches in this. He threw exactly 73, but he was around 60 pitches. And I saw him at like 93, 94, as opposed to like the 96 that we normally have been seeing from Shane Smith. They've been pushing it slightly from there. And he has this bridge pitch, this slider, that I can't believe had a 46% strike rate. Watching it, it was really good. There were some obvious mistakes with it, and they were very competitive otherwise. Like, I'd say it's a higher competitive rate than I normally see from a slider, especially one at a 46% strike rate. But the overall package is great, especially this changeup at 91, 92 that fell to 88 later on. But if you do yourself one favor, watch that video breakdown, because I'm going to show you that first inning, including one of the most filthy changeups you will ever see. I'm not kidding. This is absolutely disgusting. Righty on righty. Shane Smith has that potential. It will take some time. The Twins are also not a good offense, and I don't think that the slider is this amazing stuff pitch, but it is a bridge one, and the changeup is an amazing stuff pitch. So changeup, slider, four-seamer, doing the triangle, right? Or as Fast would call it, the Imperial Shuttle of four-seamers stay up. Then you have sliders down in glove side and changeups down in arm side. That is good potential for Shane Smith. He's not going to go long in games. He's going to have a smaller leash than others, shorter leash, because yeah, he is fatiguing. So be careful with that. Don't overextend Shane Smith against against like decent into great lineups. Do you know about Sandy Alcantara, guys? Because 5 innings, 200 runs, 3 hits, 0 walks, and 4 strikeouts. We'll take that. But do you know about his 96 mile per hour velocity? That in the post game, he said he was actually trying to go harder. That wasn't him holding back. So that's a little concerning. He did fall a little bit down to like 92, 93 almost at times by the end. That's not the Sandy Alcantara we know. I'm sure we're going to get more information about what it is exactly. Is it Is it his elbow? Is it his shoulder? I don't know. And the whole thing about like the Marlins don't care, we're just going to throw him, he's a beast, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Are we already seeing the ramifications of this? I hope not. And if I'm the Marlins, I'm going to say, look, we got to protect this dude because he's supposed to be off our team by July 1st. So I'm a little concerned. I also wonder that the curveball that showed up, it was around 86 miles per hour. Is that really the curveball or is it just the slower slider? Because it is 0-0 movement. Like that's what we normally see for sliders. And I think it's just a misclassified, I think it's the same pitch, it's just slower. But it looked great. I think batters did not expect it. I think it's a little different, exaggerated movement, slightly more than slider, but I think it's just because it's a different velocity. So I think the 50% strike rate should go up on that over time. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about Alcantara. He's saying he needs more time to recover than before, which might just be a product of being older. But yeah, that's something to really pay attention to with Sandy Alcantara. We're not out of the woods here. Kodai Senga, on one hand, went 94-95, not like 96 plus with the four-seamer. However, it was 5 innings, 200 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Because Kodai Senga is embracing the breadth. That's with the D. Because it's not just the bridge cutter anymore. It's not. He also has 15 sweepers and sliders to go along with the cutter. He's got 3 bands of that slider, essentially. That's so good. It kept the four-seamer under 30% usage. Yes! That's how it should be done. Oh, I love that. If you remember Tanaka, who also had an amazing splitter, like, if you think about the guys with amazing splitters, Gosman is a weird one. But like Tanaka, how he did it was he threw 30% or lower or fewer fastballs. Kenta Maeda did this, slider and splitters. And I want Senga to do that, and it's clearly successful to do that. I know it's against the Marlins, but that's a very good thing. So that's cool. We're going to keep going with this. I hope he ramps up further than 94-95. The splitter, of course, the Ghost Fork was great. Will Warren, I mean, I'm glad he did well against the Diamondbacks. 5 innings of 200 runs, 1 hit, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The sweeper has negative 17 horizontal. So just think 17 inches one way towards the glove, and then plus 20 inches horizontal on the sinker. That's, of course, quick math. So you're 37 inches or 3 feet different movement from where the sinker lands and where the sweeper lands from the same arm slot. That's pretty cool. That's the thing that is like working against righties. I don't like his approach to lefties. I don't think the changeups are enough, and the four-seamer, I think he's a Toby at best here, Will Warren, especially right now. He had 4 walks here as well. I think you got to be careful with the Will Warren. I think a 15-teamer's fine. You can go after it, but I'm not quite sold yet. I think he needs he needs a fix for lefties. The changeup could be it over time. Corbin Burns against the Yankees, I was very scared of it, and he looked great initially, but then eventually settled on 98 pitches for just 4.1 innings. 200 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks. He had 8 strikeouts. And that's because the cutter was located low. He went over 60% cutters, but it wasn't with the break we're used to. We saw 7 inches, 7 to 9 is what we want to see the cutter. When he goes higher than that, it's bad. Essentially, what you should think about is you want drop. The closer to 0 and negative is drop. So when I say 17 inches of vert, that is good for a four-seamer. But for a cutter, especially Corbin Burns, you want it to be low. So you want to be at 7 or 9, really just get under 10. He's at 11. That's what we saw a lot of last year. It was more pedestrian of a season because of it. So, he didn't really have much else. There were really good curveballs in there, but this was a game of cutters and featuring curveball and friends. Like it wasn't really the complete picture. And I think that really got to Burns a bit here. I'm curious to see how this develops. There's a good defense behind him. He should be fine and everything, but maybe he's just a Holly and not really an ace for your teams. You have Simeon Woods Richardson, 4 innings of 200 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks. It's fine, I guess. It's just 4 innings. And because the White Sox, you need 82 pitches for this. He's down to 91-92, so no more 94-95. He is getting 20 inches of vert, but that's because of the extreme arm angle a bit, and I just don't want to do it. Matthew Liberatore, 6 innings of 300 runs, 6 hits, 0 walks, and 4 Ks. Hey, we'll take a poor quality start, but it's against the Angels, and I don't really think he's doing much that's exceptional here. 23% CSW, 4 whiffs. Matthew Liberatore is not the solution for you. Logan Allen, 2 first names. No way. 5.1 innings of 400 runs, 5 walks, 1 strikeout. Let's just not. Cool. Michael Lorenzen, also 5.1 innings, 300 runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, 7 Ks. I'm surprised at 7 Ks, honestly. But yeah, I don't think you should be going after Michael Lorenzen in the slightest. There's not enough here. It is a desperate 15-teamer Toby kind of play. Hayden Wesneski, I've been labeling him as the worst Brandon Pfaadt, and maybe I shouldn't. It was 5 innings, 300 runs, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. Why? Because he only featured it 15% of the time. The sweeper, that is Brandon Pfaadt's main thing, and I thought it was Wesneski's thing. He only threw 24% to righties. Instead, this was 55% four-seamers, and he has near 7 feet of extension. I think that's the most interesting part about Wesneski is that he does have a decent foundation if you were to get really good movement or really just one of those filthy pitches and whatnot. And 7 for 48 whiffs, which essentially is a 15% swing strike rate on that four-seamer at 94.95 is pretty cool. And he had 88 and 89 mile per hour cutters underneath it. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like, oh, that's a great cutter and oh my gosh, amazing four-seamer. Like he really sat in the middle of the zone a lot here. I don't think the command is all that great. It should be better than like your normal volatile guys, but it's not like a precise pitcher to me. The sinker could be a really good pitch moving forward. And I don't like the, I just don't really like what he's doing for the most part with this. He needs to be throwing more sinkers inside to right-handers. He needs to be throwing cutters inside to lefties, throw the sweeper a ton to righties. It's just not quite enough. And maybe it's good enough because it's the Astros. 15-teamers, yeah, you keep holding on to Wisniewski. I think for 12-teamers, we're just okay. Trevor Williams, never Trevor, 10 hits. Yep. 300 runs in 5 innings. We are moving on there. And Logan Gilbert, tough first inning. And then he settled down pretty much. 5 innings, 300 runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, 22 whiffs. He gained 1.5 inches of vert on the four-seamer to be around 18 inches. That's a big difference. 16 and a 0.3 versus 17.8. Huge benefit. Elite extension, you know this. And he earned 9 for 44 whiffs on the four-seamer. This was a game where he was cruising with a heater and just stuck with that. And he only threw 5% sliders to right-handers. Now, he threw 2 of them. That's it. They were both floated up and arm side. And I get the sense that Gilbert just didn't have the feel for it, which is strange because Gilbert threw more sliders than any other pitch last year. So it's weird. That's cool. And it's cool that the four-seamer's cooking. So hopefully the four-seamer keeps cooking. The adjustments made to the slider. And he's just incredible. Now, I would love that. That'd be really cool, Logan Gilbert. Can you do that? Because this is the most encouraging start I've seen with that fastball, I think, ever. So we'll see. It was in Seattle. Just want to throw that out there. Justin Steele against the Athletics got the win, 6.2 innings, 400 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks. He wasn't looking good early on. I mean, overall, it wasn't the best commanded Justin Steele game. However, it was 2 home runs. Okay, 2 two-run shots, first and third. And they were on 2 sliders down and in to right-handers that didn't get further enough down and in, I should say. Right? Otherwise, he made this work. And I think Justin Steele is someone that is very hard to hit typically, especially with his different fastballs. This four-seamer that changes between cut action and staying flat and staying up. And you also have different kinds of sliders. And I think Justin Steele is someone that once he gets into his groove, as we even saw last year, he came off the IL after the high hamstring injury, had a couple starts of whatever, and then bam, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball for 4 straight months. So we're all good with Steele. I'm not really worried about this. He's definitely looking a little bit better than the first game that we saw. Luis Severino was on the other side, and 500 runs in 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. You don't really need to go after Severino. He's fastball, sinker, and sweeper, which means that the attacks against left-handers are kind of weird. And yeah, I'm not really into this a ton. And last but not least is Thomas Harrington. I know a lot of people were asking me, oh man, should we pick him up for his debut? First of all, no. Debuts are generally not games that you want to go for with guys. Second, Thomas Harrington, yeah, he's not very exciting. It's a 92 mile per hour heater with a splitter sweeper combo, and it's just, ugh. It's not good. He was also known as a control guy. We have someone on YouTube who just always says that Thomas Harrington equals George Kirby, and 4 walks and 2 Ks is obviously not that guy. it was a debut affecting things. I don't think that Thomas Harrington is the guy to go for. So you can just kind of ignore this one. And if you're wondering, where's Bubba Chandler? I thought it'd be Bubba Chandler. Well, unfortunately, we saw this in the spring. Pirates haven't stretched him out yet. We're not going to see Bubba Chandler until May 1st, May 15th, something like that. We're going to see the AAA starts. We'll get the signal from there, right? Once Bubba Chandler's up to 3, 4, 5 innings going strong in AAA, then we'll start banging on the door being like, yo, bring us our boy Bubba because let's get to it. So I would say you can monitor Bubba Chandler starts with me on the morning streams. You can also use our PL Pro AAA data app, which is amazing. You can just follow these fastballs and see how guys are doing every single AAA game super quickly. It's the best way to just keep tabs on your minor league pitchers. So you should be doing that as well and just monitor Bubba Chandler starts. He's like the only one. It's like him and Quinn Matthews and maybe Zebby, who threw 99 apparently in his AAA game yesterday. He hit that. That's awesome. I might want to consider that because, let's be honest, Simeon Woods Richardson and Chris Paddock, not really the best options for the Twins. So you might see that swap pretty soon. We'll see how that goes. But long story short, Thomas Harrington is not the guy. All right, that is it for today. Thank you all so much for joining me on this live episode of the Plus Pitch Podcast. You'll see this live Monday mornings at 2 a.m. 2 a.m., I guess, Sunday through Thursday nights. Moving forward, sometimes you might get in on the weekends. It really depends if I have that time in the morning, but that is it. So my name is Nick Pollock, and may your BABIPs be low and your strikeouts high.